Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Fabio Hart coming back with another live video. Let me see how am I on time. I'm about uh, I'm about 6 minutes late, guys, but I'm here. So, um, all right. So on my community tab, I had asked you guys if there was a certain topic or if there was a topic that you guys wanted me to talk about on tonight's live video. I did have one person uh, leave a comment on there, and that's what we're going to address tonight. We're going to be talking about um, just employee tracking time or tracking your employees' time. And she said systems. Before I get into that, guys, I had an email. Now, I get trolled all the time, right? But I had an email that come through a little earlier today, and I want to go ahead and read it, and I want to address it. I want to address it real quick, guys. So hang on, let me, because I didn't save it or anything. Actually, I think I did. Let me see. One second, guys. One second. Bear with me. Bear with me. Welcome, guys. It's giving you guys a little time to get in the room here. One second. Let me see if okay. What's going on, boss? Sorry, I missed your call. Schedule change for sleep. No, not a problem, boss. We'll get into it. So, this email, I don't know if you guys can see it here. I had screenshotted it, but it's an email. Okay, so this email comes from James Madison. Okay, and before I talk about James, to be honest, I believe I spoke to him before. Um, I believe he works for a franchise, or I don't know if he's like part of maybe a master franchise or if he's just a franchisee. But he had emailed several different times in regards to commercial cleaning, starting up his own commercial cleaning. But then when I get on the phone, it sounds like he's pretty knowledgeable. So I've talked to him quite a few different times, and what James tried to do is finesse information out of me and finesse pretty much like a free coaching, right? So certain questions he would ask me, I tell him, hey, we'd be more than happy to cover that in coaching. If you want to go ahead and get coaching, or you could just revert back to my videos, that type of thing, right? So I didn't answer his questions, right? And it looks like he's have hit AJ up, AJ Simmons. It looked like he hit AJ up quite a few different times because, well, let me read the email here. Uh, so here it is. It says the title of it is F U and AJ Simmons. Sheesh, with quite harsh words. He said, "Look here, F you and AJ Simmons. Y'all are giving old-fashioned ways to run a cleaning business. The problem I have with you is you an asshole. You think you know it all, and you and AJ Simmons have overpriced information that y'all sell. Okay. Uh, AJ Simmons is another bastard. He not for the people. He don't return emails nor call people back when you ask for him to call you. Neither one of you is welcome to Las Vegas. Bet not see you guys in Vegas. Period." Okay. So that's how that particular email read. It was really point blank, short and brief. Jesus Christ. So my Facebook is going off. But so again, guys, here's the deal. Here's the deal. And I'm gonna keep it real brief, keep it real short for you guys. Here's the deal. All great things have a value to it. Okay? All great things have a value to it. It sounds like the guy is kind of teed off because maybe he wasn't able to afford the coaching or get the coaching, or he wasn't able to buy whatever, AJ Simmons stuff is or was. Seems like he's not able to get that stuff, so he has a chip on his shoulder. Okay, as far as this guy James is concerned, like I said, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I spoke to him before. And what he tried to do is finesse information out you so he can go in terms and run his franchise, or if he's a franchisor, right? He tried to take that information back and go ahead and run his franchise company. Okay, um, that's not gonna work. When you somebody like AJ and myself, you probably need to talk to all type of people, so you kind of know what the nature of the conversation is. You kind of know what, when somebody is a newbie at this and when somebody is a little bit more seasoned based on the conversation, right? So I don't mind him feeling the way he feels, but like I say, every great thing come with the price, right? And he has to pay the price. Um, I'm not gonna say his company name or whatever. I'm not gonna even, like I say, uh, elaborate too much on him, but I did want to kind of put that out there because, guys, you're going to have people like James all the time in your business. When they don't get their way, then they'll slam you, right? And you got to have a thick skin. You can't let it have you destroyed. You can't let it have you down, right? Even within your family, your friends, your associates, and I talk about this all the time. A lot of times, people don't believe in your dream until it become a reality. And once it become a reality, the fact that they didn't believe it and now they're mad because they didn't believe in your dream, now that is a reality, so they get to slamming it. They get to talking about you, they get to making up things about you, right? And this is all along the same realm, right? So this guy is pissed off. He probably wasn't able to afford the coaching, or probably wasn't able to afford what AJ Simmons got going on. So therefore, he feels a certain way. Now he said we're not welcome to Las Vegas, and that's fine too. I do go where I want to go when I want to go, right? So I'm not worried about that at all. Okay, so much for that, guys. Let's go ahead and jump right into, like I say, on my community tab, what I had. I asked you guys, is there anything in particular that you wanted me to talk about tonight? And I did get a message from a Katrina Johnson. I'm not sure if I'm saying her company name right. I think it's Tennessee Cleaning. I don't know if she's on the live, but so I'm going to talk about this, okay? And guys, this is not, one way to do this. It's however you want to do it, but I'm going to give you a different perspective, like a couple different perspectives, okay? Now, she wanted me to talk about tracking time, right? Employee times, I guess, having them, time in, time out, that type of thing, and talk about systems, right? Which is my thing, right? I talk a lot about systems. Okay, so let's start with times. Okay, how do you uh, manage the times, your employee times, and that type of thing? My preferred method, guys, is I'm a little bit old-fashioned with it. My preferred method is the time clock. Okay, is the time clock. Okay, so the way I like to do, excuse me, the way I like to do it is at each central location. And this could get pretty pricey, so I'm gonna give you guys some other ways that you can possibly do it. I talked to a friend of mine who has a cleaning service, and he does it a little bit different. So that's why I said I'm gonna give you a couple different perspectives. Okay, so my preferred perspective is that we have time clocks at each location, right? You get the okay from the site itself. Hey, I would like for my employees to punch in and punch out at a certain time. And the reason people say, well, Fabio, why you use time clocks? Because it's really no way that you can trick that, right? Opposed to some of the other things I'm about to talk about, there's really no way that you can trick that. If you're there at 8 o'clock and you put your card in there at 8 o'clock and you punch the time, it's going to punch in 8 o'clock, right? If you punch out and you're supposed to punch out at 10 o'clock and you punch out at 11 o'clock, or you punch out early, it's just going to record that, right? So that's the old fashioned way. Now, what I have added on to that, as just a level of insurance, is that I do a video call, like Duo, or you get one of those video calling apps where they can kind of call in and talk to, not necessarily me, but if it's just you, they can video call you in and say, hey, Fabio, I'm just reporting to duty. This is me, right? whoever she is or whoever he is. That way, you see in the background, you see that they're really there at the site. Now, if they don't call you and you decide, let's say you call them on the video call, right? So let's say they're supposed to be there at what time is it? It's 11:15. So let's say they're supposed to be at the site at 12 midnight, right? My time, Eastern Standard Time. And you don't get the video call exactly at 12 midnight, right? So then you call them. They send you the voicemail, right? Let's just say that you're using this Duo app. They send you the voicemail. You call them. They don't answer. You call the regular line. You call their regular phone, right? They don't answer. They don't answer. And then 12:30, they tell you that, yeah, my battery was dead or whatever the case was. I had bad signal. Even if the battery was dead, right? When you try to video call them, the time clock should say what if they were there on time? The time clock should say 12 midnight if that's the time that they're supposed to be there. Like I say, the time clock could get very, very, it could get pricey, right? Because if you got a lot of contracts, that's a lot of time clocks, right? But that's the preferred method for me. Okay, so that's one way that I like to track time. If you're not going to use time clock and you use like a video apping service where they can kind of call in or like video in, you understand, then you can use that method and you'll see that they're at the site, right? They're wherever they're supposed to be. So that's my method. That's what I do personally in my business. Now, I'm not the guy that they call because I have employees. Everything is systematically done, right? So, I mean, I have supervisors and different things like this. So they don't necessarily call me, but they do like video call in to personnel. Okay. And that just worked for me. I don't know if that will work for you guys or if that seemed like a bit much, but it works for me. Yep. I'm just about to get into that, DJ the boss. So I took some notes here. So I got a friend, he has a pretty decent size commercial cleaner business, right? He's independent. And we were talking about it and stuff like that. And I have another friend, he has a security company, right? Where you have, armed and unarmed guards and different things like that. And I was just kind of picking his brain just because I knew I was going to talk about this subject. I say, hey, how do you know when your security guards is on shift? Or how do you know when your guards is on the site and they, at the time. So I got a couple different perspectives. Okay. So for my security guy, he said what he does is obviously they got a dispatch, right? So he used the dispatch formula, right? Also, what he used is this software and apps. Now the app and the app, some of these apps is the same one both of them use. My commercial guy for the cleaning and my friend that has a security service. And the app that they both say that they use is called Time Clock Connect Pro. Okay, he said you can go to the app store and get it for free. Now, I don't use any apps, guys. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It's just I don't use them. He said with Time Clock Connect Pro, it has a GPS integrated in the app where you can actually track in real time. So I guess you have to kind of go to that app and read up on it a little bit. But he said it does a multiple of things. Okay. Another app one of my cleaning guys gave me is Time Clock Sync Employee Hour Tracker. Okay, so I guess it tracks by the hour, it just track the time. And the last one is T-Sheets Time Tracker. Okay, now from what he was saying, and this is my cleaning guy, what he was saying is pretty much all of those apps are pretty decent apps. Okay, now there's a host of apps that you can use. I know DJ just stated, I guess, one that he used, right? That might work for him and work for his team and his company. So I'm assuming there's just a lot of apps that you can use. You just kind of have to pick and choose what apps. Some apps have different things integrated in them, but I do think that will be a phenomenal way to start off with your business. Okay, if you're trying to track employee time and you try to track, certain things hourly. He said it actually literally add the hours up as you go along, so how much they made today. I think that was the Time Clock Connect Pro. He said it literally kind of tracks. So if you paying them $10 an hour all the way to the cent, if they overtime it, it actually track based on the time that they clocked in through the app or whatever the case is. It tracks how much money they accumulated or how much is due to them. Okay, and I think that was the Time Clock Pro that he said. Okay, I don't want to kind of go into too much detail about it because I don't have the app and I didn't really investigate the app or kind of play with the apps and see how they work. These are just the name of the apps that he gave me. Time Clock Connect Pro, Time Clock Sync Employer Hour Tracker, and T Sheets Time Tracker. Okay, so if Katrina is on, I would. Hey, how's it going, Mia? Hey, what's up, DJ? So I don't know what happened, guys. I got cut off, but anyway, I'm back. So that's what I would probably suggest that you do, Katrina. Start with like some of these apps. You can also use my approach. Another way, like my guy that has the security company, what he does is he have his supervisors go to the different sites, okay, his field supervisors, and he'll literally take a picture of the guard. Number one, to make sure the guard is there on time, make sure that the guard is actually at the site. You can also check the clocks or whatever the time clock that his guards use, which they actually use the same time clock that some of the employees of that particular facility use. They have their own set of time cards or whatever. So, hey, how's it going, Ross? Um, so yeah, you can do that, but he actually take a picture of the guard and he have it sent to him because he essentially want to make sure his guard is in proper uniform. Okay, so I guess he's had problems with that. So that's a cool thing too, guys. If you have a dress code and you have supervisors, you can literally have them part of your process. You take a photo of them with their camera phones and have your supervisor send it to you just to make sure your employees is in compliance with uniform and that type of thing. Okay, so it's a lot of different ways that you guys can do it. Katrina also want me to talk about systems and implemented systems. I feel like that's my little specialty. Katrina, what I do want to say is that there's no right or wrong way to do it. Okay, I have my own way to kind of run systems and do systems. You didn't necessarily specify when you said systems. I'm assuming you're talking about more or less running it on autopilot or, being able to have it run on its own pretty much without you really having to partake in it or being too involved in it, as that's not the case with me, right? So the thing is, basically, your systems is going to come down to your training, delegation, right? Your systems is going to come down to your training and delegating, right? Being able to train your employees, because without the proper employees, guys, if your employees is quitting on you all the time, it's going to be hard to like hone in on that system you're trying to develop, right? It's going to be very, very hard to try to run a system if you don't have like great employees or at least decent employees to help you get along. Okay, so um, my thing is that I like to hire some of the best people that I could find. I don't discriminate in terms of race. Some people just prefer having, if they're black, they prefer having black. If they're white, they prefer having white. I don't discriminate in race, but I do think it's going to come down to training. Now, if I was to clean the facility right, I've done it so many times that I know how to clean it. I don't have to do it uh, the long way, so to speak, right? I can shortcut it and still get the job done, and you don't know how long it took me to clean it, right? I know what I'm doing. But if you're training somebody, guys, I would suggest you train them the long way, right? I don't want you to train them as if you were cleaning it, because you know what you know how to clean. You can get it done for a fraction of the time. You'll rather have them work their whole time through and get it done right than to try to be like you and then cut some corners and then they miss something, if that makes sense to you guys. Okay, so that's what I would suggest in that regard. But like I say, my systems is coming basically comes down to training and delegating, and that's the hardest part for a lot of people, especially when you're just starting up within the first year of business. It's really hard to really delegate something that you work so hard to try to obtain, right? Which is the contract, right? It might took you a couple months to get in a contract, or it might took you, a month or 2 or 3 weeks, and now that you're in, you so focused, you're more focused on losing a contract than you is expanding, right, and getting more contracts. At least I was. So when I got my first contract, I was more like, oh shit, I don't want to lose it. So but I did work 30 to 60 days in, and then I put a body in there, because I feel like if you know enough about the contract based on you working 30 to 60 days in a facility, it's pretty safe to say that you will be able to train somebody to do exactly what you do. Okay. And within 30 to 60 days, you can clean this from front to back, back to front, side to side. You kind of know how to do this, right? So you probably have your shortcut way of doing it, but I would suggest you train them the long way, the right way, right? Don't show them, well, you could do it this way, but I do it this way. Show them the appropriate way to do it. That way, everything can get done properly and it won't be any mishaps. Another thing that you want to do, guys, is I don't talk about this often. I have talked about it, but I don't talk about it too often. Is you do want to provide a checklist to your employees every single night, right? So they have their name on it, their employee number, if they got an employee number with you, the date or the day, okay, of the cleaning, right? And then at the bottom of it, you want to be able to have somebody sign off, like your supervisor, yourself, sign off and date it, and then have the office administrator or whoever your contact person is sign off and date. Okay. So a lot of my sites, we have like a folder. Okay, we have like a binder or like a folder where we keep a lot of these type of documents, the policy and procedures of the plant or of the facility or whatever. So it has a lot of the kind of paperwork, the pertinent paperwork that you would need for this particular location. Okay, and the same thing, you will want to have that. You will want to have those checklists in there, because again, it's going to be different. You're going to be using it every time you clean, right? So you want to have many copies of it so they're able to kind of check it off as they go to make sure that they did complete everything. Okay. So and if they missed anything, at least if it's not checked off, obviously they know they need to do it, right? So I do believe a checklist is very, very important. I think you guys should implement that every single day in a cleaning, even for yourself, right? So if you're just starting and you did your walkthroughs and they say we need this done and we need that done, we need this done, okay, you need to make sure that you get that done, because it's going to become a problem if you didn't. Okay, and all of this, like I said, is integrated in your system. This is part of building your system. It's part of building your company up and putting things together. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, I'd be more than happy to entertain them. As far as working on autopilot, I spoke about that many times. Um, last year or whatever the case is, nothing has changed, right? I steady grow. Like I was this past weekend, I was in Flint. This upcoming weekend, I'm gonna be in Grand Rapids, Michigan, right? So again, the thing is, it's working for me because I have systems in place. I delegate, right? I don't have to really necessarily work within the business, right? I just oversee the business. I govern the business. So I will tell you in the very, very beginning, guys, you do want to be very proactive. You don't want to hire somebody and then forget about them. Okay. You want to make sure that you're going to check regularly until they kind of really get the hang of it. Okay. When they get the hang of it, you can kind of fall back a little bit. All right. If you don't want to do it, then I suggest that you hire a field supervisor or whatever you call the personnel that work for you, that oversee everything, that govern everything. That way you don't have to do it. Now, if you need to hire more than one person to do it, hire more than one person to do it. You don't want to leave anything, off track. Okay. Or if you can hire somebody to work the fields, and then yourself, right? So this person might be on one side of the town, the other person might be on the other side of the town. And this is where you just go and check on the contracts. Okay, you check on the contract, you make sure it's enough cleaning solution, it's enough trash liners, it's enough vacuum cleaners and vacuum bags or whatever the case is. You just make sure everything is up to par, okay? And you provide yourself with a checklist. Okay, it's enough trash liners, we have solutions, we have this. That way, you can kind of keep tab of each contract and what they have and what they don't have, if that makes sense, guys. Again, this is all part of my putting my system together. This works the same way in Toledo. It works the same way in Georgia. It works the same way in Michigan. Okay. Again, that's just part of training. Lastly, guys, what I would suggest that you guys do that a lot of people don't do is get feedback from the workers. Call a meeting like every other week on the weekend or so. Okay. Like a Saturday afternoon, you say, hey, we have a meeting. We're going to all meet here. Right. Don't make it so uptight and all of this. Because you want them to be able to talk to you, to converse with you. Because a lot of times what happen is they're employees and they hear things around the plant or hear things around the site. They don't necessarily tell you about it, but then you haven't necessarily asked about it. So a lot of times they know something and won't put you up on game about it, and then boom, it explodes, and then they can your company, or they, you that way you can kind of look like many times I've heard rumors that people wanted to take over contracts, or they was looking to let my company go and go with other companies, right? So what happened is the employees actually talk to my employees, right? That's working at that particular site. They say, hey, I'm just give y'all a little FYI. Hey, they talking about letting you guys go. So you guys might want to, tighten up whatever you got to do, or you might just, well, I'm just giving you a heads up. I'm not supposed to say nothing. Don't tell nobody, but I'm just letting you know. Guys, this happened every day in America, right? Every day in America, stuff like that happen where they'll really put you up on game and let you know that they're looking to replace you. Okay. And maybe it's the office personnel, right? So again, see, that's why you will have meetings, because they might not necessarily text you and say, hey, they're looking to replace the company, right? But if you have these type of meetings and certain things that's going on, they say, hey, Fabio, they want us to start cleaning this, that we haven't been cleaning that, but I wasn't trying to clean that, Fabio. So when they tell me to do it, I do it, but I don't know if I'm supposed to do it. Like, you will get a lot of intel from your employees. That's why it's very, very important. I don't care if you have one employee. I don't care if you have 10 employees. At like bi-weekly or weekly or however often you feel like it's necessary, I feel like you guys should meet with your employees. Okay. And again, in the very beginning stages, again, a lot of times people get very, very comfortable with the fact that they have an employee, so they chill out at home, or they relax, or they don't check on the contracts. And again, a lot of times that's where you make a lot of mistakes. Okay. A lot of times your employees, they become lazy. Okay. So again, you want to make sure that you're checking up behind your employees. Also, check with your contact person. I would suggest maybe once a quarter. Don't check with them too frequent, guys, because a lot of times what happened, and I learned this the hard way, is they begin to make up things that you haven't done. They'll say, oh, you guys don't do this, or you haven't do that, you don't do that, or you never did this, or I don't see nobody ever do this and that, right? And the stuff that they might be asking you to do is stuff that they didn't originally say do when you did the walkthrough, right? When you was taking your notes. So it's not that you can't do it or you won't do it, but again, this take time. If we got to clean the vents, the ceiling vents, right? If we got to clean the ceiling fans, if we got to clean other things that wasn't discussed, it's not that we wouldn't do it. We can do it. Okay. But you just have to say, we're able to buy paperwork separately from, yes, you're able to buy paperwork by yourself. Yep. Yep. So you just email me at HOLLYWOODJANITORIALSERV, put paperwork in the subject line, and Jasmine or Alexis be able to help you with that. Okay, but you can't buy it by itself. So yeah, it's not that you wouldn't want to do it, guys. It's just that you will want to make sure you're getting paid to do it. Okay, you want to make sure that you're getting paid to do it. Okay, because that's going to take, no problem, Smith. That's going to take even more time. Okay. So again, it's not that you want to be a prick. My employees, I like them to ask me or ask, one of my field supervisors if they don't feel comfortable, just text me or shoot me a call, right? Give me a call. I would rather you ask me and let me handle it with the contact person than you not do it, or you do it or you don't feel comfortable with doing it, or you don't know if you should do it, right? Just hit up a supervisor or just text me directly. Right? I might say, well, yeah, go ahead and do it, and I'll give them a call. I'll make a note. I'll give them a call tomorrow, because I don't want the employee to be caught between a rock and a hard place, and they think that, well, we're supposed to do this, but I haven't been doing it. They ask me, can I do it? And I don't know if I was supposed to do it, right? So again, you want to have that communication. So if your employee said someone asked them to do something, they don't know if they should do it. Okay, you give them the direction and say, yeah, well, go ahead and knock it out. Go ahead and take care of it. But you make sure you follow up with the contact person and let them know, hey, this wasn't a part of what we can handle it. We're not saying we can't handle it, but you guys, I understand you asked such and such to do it. They wasn't sure if they were supposed to do it because we don't typically do it, right? It's the way you communicate it. Okay. Okay. So if you're going to charge them more, you let them know, hey, this is going to be a little bit more, right? Depending on what it is. If it's something a little petty, you can say, okay, we can add it on. And then you add that part of the checklist. Okay. If that's how you want to do it, right? But you want to have everything checked off. You really want to utilize that checklist. Okay. And again, all of this plays a part in building your guys' system. This will help that as long as your employee have that communication with you, you allow that open door policy. You have that communication with your employee. You don't want them to feel like they can't contact you at any given time. Okay, as long as you have that, you shouldn't have really too much of a problem. Okay, I will suggest that you guys do background checks on your employees. I get asked about that often. I would suggest that you do background checks. And I will also suggest that you do drug screens. The reason being, like a lot of medical facilities that I have, even though I don't have a problem with people smoking weed, it's becoming a norm. It's legal in a lot of places, right? And even in Michigan, right? So I don't necessarily have a problem with it, right? But a lot of the people at doctors' offices and facilities like that, they want to see the results of these drug tests, right? So certain people that might smoke weed, I might not be able to put you over here, but I can put you over there. I need to have somebody that's weed clean, right? Their urine is clean, and put them over here at the doctor's office because that's just what they want over here, right? Even with it being legal, right? A lot of people say, well, it's legal, so I should be able to do it, but you still got to deal with the fact that it matters of policy and procedures with just different sites and different companies, right? They just don't want people working there that do that. They want them to test clean, right? So again, a lot of times people, get upset with me because we got to do the drug testing, which we do the drug testing. But like I said, I'm not really big on the whole weed thing. It's becoming a normal. Now, other drugs, harsher drugs, meth, and some of the harsher things, then that's a whole different level, right? But weed, I don't take it to be such a big thing, right? Most people in the office that don't want you to smoke weed a lot of times, right? So again, guys, this is all part of just and the answer to building your systems is step by step. I'll tell people all the time, don't look at this video and say, oh, there's just so much information. Just break it down from the startup process. I don't know if Katrina, if she's the one that sent this over, Katrina Johnson. Startup process, right? Once you get your DBA, you get all of that. You get the legal stuff out the way, the banking, the lawyers, you get all of that stuff out the way, right? Then you go to marketing, right? Whatever you did to get the first account, just do more of that, guys. Okay. I tell people all the time, there's no right or wrong way to run this business. It's really not, right? So once you get the startup, the first level, the introductory part is the starter process. Then once you get the starter process going, right, you got the paperwork, you got all of that stuff done, right? Now you want to market, right? So you got to bring in clients, got to find a way to market to bring in new clients, got to advertise, right? You got to put your name out there, be visible, right? Okay, so once you do that and you start building traction, even if you're not closing the deals, right? Because you can get walkthroughs all day and not close. That just means you're kind of doing something wrong on your end in terms of being able to close them. And a lot of times it's because people aren't asking for the sale. You're not asking for the contract. You put your numbers in and then you just wait on them and say, I'm just waiting for them to call me. No, you got to follow up. You got to ask for the deal. You got to ask for the contract, right? Have some type of guarantee in place. You can rest assured that my company will handle all your cleaning needs. I just kind of made that up at the top of my head or whatever, but whatever you say to them, thank you. We will appreciate if you just give us the opportunity to be your professional cleaner, and we will guarantee you that we will be able to handle all your cleaning needs. Okay. It's just your approach. It's not a problem. Not a problem, Ross. It's just your approach. Okay. Again, guys, you don't have to be so feisty. It's the tonality, it's how you look them in the eyes, how you want to make them feel comfortable, right? Just like with you don't want anybody, no one likes to be sold, everybody like to buy. That's what they say, right? Well, if you buying you in Foot Locker and they trying to force you on this shoe, and you might want that shoe, but man, goddamn, just let me look around. Can I look around? I might get this shoe. I appreciate it, but I feel like you forcing the shoe. I might decide to go to another Foot Locker because you're being a high pressure salesperson, right? You're trying to force me on the shoe, right? I like the shoe, but just let me look around. If I need help, I'll let you know, right? So that's kind of how it is, and it's the same way out in the field, guys. So I'm giving you guys a lot of valuable, great information here that you can use. Marketing and delegation is the major aspects. My personal opinion, I should put it that way, right? In my personal opinion, marketing and delegation is the major part of building your system. You market, you bring in clients. If you bring one client in off of telemarketing, do more telemarketing, right? Because you're doing something right. You're able, and again, guys, like I say, it's not about the fact that you did or you didn't get the contract. You need the traction. You need the phones to ring, right? You need the phones to ring. Okay. You have to do your follow-ups. So however you marketing, as long as you kind of getting traction in terms of they're calling you, they're acquiring about your service or whatever the case is, they asking you if you can do walkthroughs. If you're getting that type of traction, then do more of that, right? Ultimate goal is you have to ask for the sale. You have to close it at the end of the day, right? And it's just a certain way, of closing it. I mean, that has to come with just more practice of getting out there, going door to door, making the calls, right? Because it's one thing, like I said, it's one thing to make the calls, guys. You make the calls, they ask you to come and do the walkthrough. You do the walkthrough, you take your notes, you submit your estimate. I usually tell people 24 to 48 hours. Past 48 hours, it don't seem like you're serious about it. I try to get my numbers in within 24 hours to let them know I'm really serious about it. But at the very least, if you hecked it, whatever the case is, 24 to 48 hours to get your numbers in. Okay, so now you get your numbers in. Now you don't wait. That's where a lot of people go wrong. A lot of people get their numbers in within that time frame and then they don't follow up. See, a lot of people say, well, Fabio, I just want to email my numbers. I don't like that idea because I'm willing to gamble. A lot of times when you ask them, hey, I sent the numbers in, I sent it via email, did you get it? They'll say, well, I didn't check it, or let me check, I'll get back with you, or I'm in front of a client, or I have to do this. I'm gonna check within an hour, I'm gonna get back with you, right? I don't like to do it that way, or I don't like to fax it because they get a lot of faxes, and sometimes their faxes get mixed intermingled, they're mixed in with other faxes, and then by the time you ask them, how did you get my fax, they'll say, no, we haven't received it. You say, well, I got confirmation on my end, but not a problem. I'll go ahead and say, oh, I like to take mine, just like you went to do the walkthrough. I like to personally take mine in, guys. The only way I would do an email is if that's the preferred method, or the fax is if that's the preferred method. Now, if you're going to fax it, what you want to do is say you want to call them up. Hi, yes, it's Fabio, Hollywood Janitorial Service. May I speak to Mark? Okay. May I ask what this is in regards to a fax I'm supposed to send? Okay, great. Put them on. Hi, Mark. This is Fabio. I just wanted to give you a heads up. I'm about to send the fax over for the numbers, so you can be looking out for it within the next few minutes or so. Okay, thanks a lot, Fabio. Great. You see how they go? Instead of just going ahead and say, well, I'm gonna send it over, right? And then, now you call them and now it's been a half hour, 45 minutes. Again, guys, you don't want to waste time. You don't want to waste time, and you don't want to have to repeat yourself. Okay. So if you're going to email it, try to give them a heads up that it's emailed, whether it's them or their assistant, so they can look out for it. And then you want to follow up behind that email. Give them, I like to give them maybe 5 minutes, from the time I email it or the time I fax, right? You don't have to do it right away, but like 5 minutes. You don't want to wait too long. Call them up. Hi, Shannon, did you get the fax? Oh, yeah. Well, the fax was for Mark in regards to the cleaning service. I was sending them over the estimate. Oh, yeah. Let me check right now and see if we have it. Or let me check the email, see if we have it, right? Again, that's the holdup a lot of times, guys. That's the holdup. That and you guys not asking for the sale. Not asking for the sale. The reason I like to personally take it in, and I don't know if Katrina, if she's watching this, but The reason I personally like to take it in, because if they have any questions when I take it in and submit it to them, we can go ahead and handle that right now. Okay. Now, for my people that use software, if you're using software programs and you say, okay, I put mine together on a software system. I have a software I use, QuickBooks. I use this, or I use whatever to put my. That's not a problem. It's not a problem to just print it off and still submit it over instead of sending it to them as an attachment, right? As an email. Now, if they prefer that, again, give them a heads up that you're about to send it over, okay? And you just want to make sure someone's there to take a look at it, okay? Because again, if you just send it over and you just wait, you're going to wait. You're just going to be waiting. And by the time you say, well, let me do a follow-up, they're going to tell you, they're going to have so many emails, they're going to tell you, I didn't receive it. In actuality, it might be there. It's just they don't feel like looking through all of those emails. But if you give me a heads up and say, hey, Fabio, I'm about to send you over this fax, I'm about to send you over this email, then I can look forward to receiving it. Hopefully this makes sense to you guys. I'm trying to really kind of break this down in bits and pieces, where you guys kind of understand and start getting structure and start building your system. Again, this is what works for me. And this is just my logic. There's no right or wrong way. Somebody else on another channel might tell you something different. This is what works for me. Okay. And I'm pretty sure it'll work for you. Everything might not work for you, but a lot of what I'm saying will work for you. You just have to keep, hey, what's up, Clean Vessel? You just have to keep going at it, keep going at it. Okay. So just to recap, whatever you do to get one account or get your first two accounts, guys, go ahead and get those likes up now. Let's do that. I think this is a pretty good video tonight now. Help me help you. but yeah, in order to start building that system, guys, you want to again break it down to bite-sized pieces. Bite-sized pieces. Don't try to take it all in all at one time, because then it's going to seem overwhelming. Yeah, for employees. How do you track their hours? When you say how do you track their hours, you mean like track how, like the time management part of it, like tracking. I talked about that earlier. I know you probably just jumped on, but I'll recap on that. Like, if you like, the way I do it is I use video through the course of like Duo or some like FaceTime type of app, and I also use time clocks. That's my personal way. A little bit old fashioned with it, right? So we have either access to time clocks at the facilities already that either the company employees already use that they allow us to use, or I will provide time clocks in those areas. Now, if you buy it, is you can write it off. It's a business expense, so you will get the credit for it. Okay, so keep that in mind. But if you're a little bit more hipper, like the vast majority of you probably are, then you will use maybe an app. Okay. Now, Clean Vessel, I think that was Clean Vessel that asked me that. Yeah, Clean Vessel. I spoke to a couple friends of mine. One have a security company, one have a cleaning company, and the apps that he was telling me about, or software programs, is one app was called Time Clock Connect Pro. You go to your Google Store, Play Store, or on your Android or your iPhone. It's called Time Clock Connect Pro. The second one is called Time Clock Sync Employee Hour Tracker. Okay. And the last one is called T Sheets Time Tracker. T Sheets Time Time Tracker. T Sheets Time Tracker. Okay. Sheesh. Okay. So you go to and I'm sure they got a host of other ones. You can kind of, I guess, play with your Play Store and see, you might find something that's different. But those was referred to me by a couple friends of mine that actually use these particular apps. Okay, so I'm sure it's many more that you can use on there. I think one of these is paid. He said I think is $4.99. I'm not sure which one it is, but it should tell you when you go to it. But Time Clock Connect Pro, Time Clock Sync. Sync is SYNC, Employee Hour Tracker. And the next one is called T Sheets Time Tracker. The letter T, SHEETS, not like TEE or nothing like that. TSEETS. T-Sheets Time Tracker. Okay, so you can get those apps at your Play Store. I think you say, like I say, one of them do have a fee to get. Okay, but that and I think the Time Clock Connect Pro is the one that has a GPS integration in it too. So you could take a look at it, but like I say, I don't use any of those. I don't use the apps, so I can't tell you specifically how they work or which one is better. But they was referred to me. Okay. So, like I said, guys, man, when you're building your system, don't worry more or less about autopilot right now. Just worry about having a viable system that's actually working for you. Ultimate goal is autopilot, right? You want to get to the point where you don't really have to do as much. You want to be, you want to govern, you want to, oversee everything. You want to be able to go from city to city, state to state, that type of thing. But just start in your immediate area, perfect it in your immediate area. Once you perfect it in your area, then you just go ahead and duplicate it somewhere else, right? Which is what I've done. Okay, I perfected it in Michigan, got it perfected in Toledo, got it perfected in Georgia, right? I have again my employees, right? The girls that actually clean, and then I have my field supervisors. Some people call it road supervisor, whatever you want to call it, field road supervisor, whatever fits your whatever you want to call it. I have them oversee everything, right? And then they kind of give me a mini report card as to what's going on once a month, right? If it's something that I need to know about, like right now, they know that they just pick up the phone and call me, right? Or they just shoot me an email, right? Jasmine, I got Jasmine and Alexis. They stay on top of the email. So if something need to get to me, right? If it's important, they get it to me right away by phone. Shoot me a text. Now I know, right? Because I get so many emails for a lot of different stuff, right? So again, guys, this is all, and I know it sounds easy said and done. It's not easy. It's going to take time, but you guys have to systematically break it down, bite-sized pieces. Okay. So the first thing, introductory. Get your business registered, LLC, get everything set up, right? Get your banking, get all of that insurance, get all of that stuff set up. Boom. You got that done. Now it's time to go to the market. Okay. It's time to take it to market. Now you have to build clients. You got to get clients. You got to build that traction. You got to get revenues coming in, right? So whether you do door to door, whether you do flyers, whether you do some type of SEOs, Google AdSense, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you do, right? Ads, offline marketing, online marketing, whatever you do, if it's working and you get one, just do more of it. Okay, just do more of it and try to perfect that. So if you're picking up the phones and you got 2 walkthroughs, that's a good thing, right? You're on to something. So now you just need to make more calls so you can get more walkthroughs. Whatever you said that was able to get you in the door, you just want to kind of put together that in a script, because apparently it's working for you. You got another restaurant contract, 1100. My guy, my guy. See, that's what I like. That's what I like to hear, Clean Vessel. Keep going, bro. Keep going. I like to hear I like to hear that shit, bro. Keep going. Stay at it, because see, a lot of people is telling me they can't do it. You found the niche. Restaurants is your niche. Go ahead, hone in on it, stay on it. Don't let even Fabio Hart, right? Because that's not my area that I will work in, right? But it's your area, and you're making a substantial amount of income. You're building revenue. Keep going. Okay, just make sure you stay on top of the custom, using your methods. Thank you, and I appreciate it so much. You understand? That's why I know this stuff works, right? I tell people all the time, it wasn't a Fabio Hart around for Fabio Hart when I first got started. So I learned a lot of this stuff through trial and error, right? I made a lot of mistakes, right? I didn't even have mentors in the beginning. I got mentors now, but I wasn't able to afford it. I didn't have no. You got to pay these people, right? So I didn't have the money. So I learned through trial and error, right? I literally learned through trial and error, and it was to the point that I was making some mistakes ongoing. I kept making the same mistakes. I'm like, what the? And you would have thought I would have learned already, and I still made that same mistake again, right? So again, I'm really proud of you, bro. Keep going, keep doing it. Stay training, put your systems together. The object of the game is for you to necessarily not have to do the work, right? You just oversee the work. You guys taking notes, jot that down. The object of the game is for you not to have to do the work, but oversee the work. The object of the game is for you not to have to do the work, but oversee the work. Okay. Somebody else asked me in an email, and it just kind of hit my brain. Asked me, how do I feel about having your kids work for you? If you got kids, that's coachable. You might have some teenagers, a daughter or a son that's willing to come in and work for you. Go ahead and train them. Train them. Share with them the importance of entrepreneurship. Right? Make them feel special. Make them feel like they have some type of stake in there. Let me see, everyone in the chat. It's all possible. It just take work. It does. It take work, right? It take being strategic. It take making mistakes. What I'm giving you stuff that I done, but that doesn't mean you're not going to make any mistakes. You still going to make mistakes. I still make mistakes, right? When I get on my coaching calls, so many people say, Fabio, when you said this, I tried it, it didn't work. But this part, what you said, I tried it and it worked. Okay. Again, everything I try don't work. Everything that I try doesn't work. But I keep going. I try to perfect it. I try to come from a different angle. And that's what entrepreneurs do. That's what entrepreneurs do. They keep trying until they find a way to make it work. Okay. If you're not willing to make it work, if you're the type that I'm proof of that, definitely. You keep trying until you find a way to make it work. If you're not willing to make it work, you're not willing to be successful in any business, right? Because it's not like a book or a manual that you can buy that breaks down systematically how to do this any given business, right? Even with the franchise, in order for them to have systems in place, they had to keep trying stuff. They started off as a regular entity, a regular business, right? At some point, and then they expanded out to a franchise once they had a proven system. Okay. Once they had a proven system. KFC, any McDonald's, any cleaning franchise, whatever franchise, right? It started off as a regular business, and then they grew it, and now they sell a system. That's pretty much what it is. And the system is so perfected to the point that they already know when you buy into it, you can make money. Okay, now some franchises make more or less, but you can make money. They know that coming in. Obviously, they're not going to sell you a system where you're not going to make no money, because then they won't make money. They make money off of what you do. And I'm not talking about any given, cleaning franchise. I'm talking about franchising as a whole, right? McDonald's, they make off of what you do, right? Commercial make off what you residential franchises make off of what you do. So when they sell you the system, they know that this system is perfected enough where it's going to work for you. You will make money with it, right? But even with that, you have to be, in order for you to grow that, you have to be, open-minded. You have to be willing to expand. Okay. So again, guys, this is what it is. Hopefully I kind of put it together. I didn't really want to talk about autopilot because I didn't really want to kind of confuse the audience here. I didn't want to confuse you guys. I spoke on autopilot before. All I need you guys to do is build a system locally. And once you perfect that system locally, then you will be able to take it to any state or any other, city, and work the same type of system, the same type of structure. You're just going to take the same thing you did in your city. If you're in Arkansas, if you're in Omaha, if you're in wherever you're at, right? San Antonio, Texas, right? Wherever you are, Milwaukee, wherever. You take whatever system you perfected and put together as just an independent cleaner or independent residential cleaner, whatever the case is. Put that system together. You want to expand it. You want to go to Wisconsin or Chicago, whatever the case is. You can do that. You're just going to apply the same principles that you did in Milwaukee or Nebraska or whatever in Chicago, right? The things might change, like the way the setup process, right? How you get insurance policies of the state, different things. You got to get to learn that stuff. But everything else, the dynamics is still the same. right? You're still gonna practice the same. I know this for a fact. That's how it worked for me, guys, in Ohio, and how it worked for me in Georgia. I do the same thing. The setup process is a setup process. You get set up, you get legalized, and then you go to market, right? And that's how it works for me. Okay. Just like today, guys, I don't do much door to door. I'm a big fan of it, but I don't do much of the door to door. So I have a guy that specializes in that. I pay him to do it, right? He do the door to door. Today we picked up one contract that has like 6 buildings. So and they hired us today. They wanted us today because they had terrible cleaners already, right? They just didn't like the cleaners that they had, right? So I was just telling somebody that I was speaking to on the phone today. Hey, we had this one contract. They wanted us to start today, right? So we had to get the numbers ready. My guy, he had to go and walk through, because I need you to walk through all of the facilities. I can't just base it on this one facility. If you guys run up against that, you have to go through all of the facilities, right? Because they might want the same thing done, but the building can be a little bit bigger. Okay, you need to know this, right? So yeah, they might need the restrooms, the carpet clean, and this and that, the window sills cleaned off, and all of that. Yeah, they need all of that done in all of the buildings. One building might take you 2 hours, another building might take you 4 hours. So you can't just say, well, Fabio, I just looked at the one building. I didn't go to the other five because, I ain't really had time. I had to go pick the kids up. Okay, and you just cut yourself a whole new, I'm not going to say that, but you just made a problem for yourself, right? Because you're assuming that because they need you to do this in building A, and you need to do the same thing in building B, C, D, so forth and so forth, you're just assuming that, okay, well, whatever I charge them for building A, maybe I just bundle it up, package it up. Yeah, you can do that, but I feel like each building, hey, my company is holding it down out here in Milwaukee, bro. Okay. See, Anthony said, don't fuck around. Only he heard me say Milwaukee. He said, don't fuck around and come out there. You're gonna have a problem. He said he is a problem. That's what's up, though. That's what's up, Anthony. But like I say, guys, you want to make sure that you take a look at all buildings. Again, like I bumped into that today, or what is yesterday now, right? It's after midnight. I bumped into that yesterday. My guy, he went to one building. They wanted to hire us the same day, which they did, right? I say, hey, you got to make sure you look at all the, he already knew, you got to look at the building so we could put the numbers together, right? So I didn't have time to say 24 to 48 hours. They wanted us to start, so we had to get the numbers in. Okay, so he took a look at it, made the notes, got all the information over to me, because I got to foresee everything. I got to make sure, right, that everything's, and I trust his judgment. He took the notes, he did the walkthroughs. I know how I looked at my bidding outline, put everything together, and we turned the numbers in. I'm pretty confident, pretty sure that I'm going to get it. You know, pretty sure I'm going to get it. But that's how you got to do it, guys. Like I say, don't, and a lot of you guys, you go into these facilities, you go into these buildings. Like, guys, let's get these likes up. What you waiting on? Let's get these likes up. Come on now. Come on, guys. You got to do better than that. You got me on camera. I'm looking ugly. I'm looking a mess. And the least you can do is like my videos, man. I'm giving great content here. But like I say, guys, a lot of you guys are going to bump into that. You never know where it's going to come from or what building or facility is going to be, but you might walk into a business and they say, yes, we got 2 other buildings. We got 2 other buildings. Okay. Again, if they say they got 2 other buildings, they want you to clean. They say, well, we want to have the same cleaner at all buildings. We prefer that. We don't have it now, but that's what we want. Guys, then you need to hop in your car. You need to get the addresses to the next buildings, and you need to pay them a visit. You ask them, hey, who is the contact person over there? Who do I speak over there? Is it okay if you give them a heads up, let them know that I'll be coming over there? Okay. Or you make the call yourself, right? To let them know, hi, I was at building A. I'm en route to your building now. They want us to, take a look and do a walkthrough in the facility, right? And then you do the same thing for building C. Okay. But you have to take a look at every facility. You have to take a look at every facility. Okay. Yep. Hey, Mia, good night. So you have to take a look at every facility, guys. Okay. Again, it's very important and it's paramount in the very beginning, because again, I look at every new contract as a little baby. You got to nurture it. right? You gotta stay on top of it. I look at every new contract as a little baby. So you don't want to take it for granted. You don't want to just see. I was about to say that the support king Fabio. Yeah, definitely. I appreciate you so much, Ross. Inshallah, I appreciate you so much. So you look at every new contract as a little baby, right? So you want to nurture it. You want to learn it, right? You want to get to know it. So that way, when you put somebody in place or in position to clean that facility, you already know from top to bottom what needs to be done. You know, already check the checklist. They got examples of the checklist. You leave it in a little folder. You provide the folder. You know, leave it there. Have a little basket or hang it on the door or whatever the company wouldn't mind you leaving the folder. You know, and then that's another thing. Also, a lot of my sites we have spiral notebooks, so we leave notes, right? So we can write a note to them and leave the notebook in the basket, like it's a certain basket we might leave the notebook in. That way we can let them know what's going on, and then they'll write us a note back in that same subject notebook. Okay, because I'm not always, I don't converse with them on a regular basis. Like I say, a lot of times, once every quarter, you know, I'm talking to them, but they might need my people to do something, you know, in the next 2 days, or something might be coming up, or whatever the case is, you know. So again, the only time that I'll hit them up right away is like some facilities might have a flood. You know, we might have a big rainstorm out here. Well, that's something they need to know right away, right? So then they'll let us, hey, Fabio, it's raining in the building. I've had that happen. I'm cleaning, you know, it's wet in the back room here. It's like soaking wet. It's like the carpet is a sponge. I say, okay, thank you. Say less. I'll take care of it from here. The only thing that I could do at that point, guys, is call my contact person. Again, that's why you need a backup number. Again, this is all part of building your system. Again, you make sure on your paperwork that you have a backup number on your contract or whatever the case is. You make sure you have a backup number where you can call them at home in the event that something happens. Okay, like a flood, or you know, the ceiling fell in, or whatever the case is. Okay, you notice it was a break-in or whatever the case is. Whatever, you make sure you have an emergency contact number. You have that person in your phone, or at least have it in some type of Rolodex, or you know, some type of outline where you can call those particular contact people. Okay, so again, guys, you know, hopefully I gave you guys a lot of valuable information here on this live. Don't know if Katrina made it on here, but again, this video was sparked by Katrina Johnson with Tennessee Cleaning. I think that's how you pronounce her cleaning company. And she had asked me about tracking employee time, and asked me about business systems, building systems. Okay, so I think I did a pretty good job with talking about that tonight. I'll go ahead and wrap it up unless you guys have some questions. Remember, right now, today is the 15th. We got 30 days for the coaching, and then it's over. 30 days. So if you, oh, she's okay, she's just a little late. Yep. Well, I talked about you, Katrina. I plugged you in. I do appreciate your response back on my post on my community tab. I greatly appreciate it. But when the video is over, you run it back. You see, I did talk about that subject matter. No, thank you. I'm so greatly appreciative for you. I'm so greatly appreciative, and I definitely want your business to take off. And if you already taken off or already been in it, I want you to 10x it, right? You know, go full throttle, right? And I want everybody to win, guys. If you're watching me, there's absolutely no reason why you can't win. Again, it's going to take a lot of work. I'll be lying to you if I told you it was easy. You got to be able to think quickly on your feet. There's going to come situations that I've never even brought up to you guys. Trust me, I know, because I hear my employees say, Fabio, what would you do with this? That they're saying that I need to do this and this and that and this and that. And it might be stuff that I never even talked about, right? But I'm really quick. The reason that they feel comfortable with coming asking me that is they know that I'm going to give them valuable information. Okay. But again, you got to be quick. You got to be quick on your feet, right? You got to be able to assess the situation and make a decision. Okay. And that's just with any business, guys, not just a cleaning business, any business. You got to be able to assess the situation and make a decision. Okay. If you guys have any further questions or comments, again, I got 30 days left for if you want coaching or the paperwork or or lead gen or anything like that, guys, February the 15th is the last day. So we got 30 days today. It's to January the 15th. So you got the 30-day window to get in. Thank you to everybody that has got in a part of the coaching. Okay, I really greatly appreciate you guys, and I'm gonna work extremely hard one-on-one trying to help everybody definitely flip their investment, right? So I definitely at least want you to do that. Okay, so again, uh, just make sure you be very coachable, very assertive, and you got to ultimately take action, guys. You know, you can take all the notes in the world, but if you don't do anything with it, you're not going to get anywhere. And I know that for a fact. Okay. Yep. Okay. That's going to wrap it up. Thanks again, Katrina Johnson at Tennessee Cleaning. I think I said it right. Sorry if I butchered your cleaning company name. But I did talk about tracking employee time, and I also talked about systems, how to break it down, systematically. You just break it down to bite-sized pieces, right? And like I said, just to give you a short overview of what I talked about, I just talked about, okay, if you got the business register, you got your EIN, you got all of that stuff, okay, boom, you got the bank account. I call that the introductory, right? The next thing is the market, right? You got to market, you got to bring in the clients, you got to get that traction coming in, right? So however you marketing your business, whatever you do to get one contract, I suggest and I tell people to keep doing that because obviously it's working. If you're getting walkthroughs but you're not closing it, a lot of times it's because you're not asking for the sale, you're not asking for the contract, right? And you can do it in a subtle way, guys. So many people, they just turn their numbers in and they just forget about it. They think that they're just going to call them and say, hey, come in. No, you turn your numbers in and you say, by the way, I look forward to, working for you and being your commercial cleaner. And then you have my word, or I guarantee that you haven't made a mistake by hiring our cleaning company. You have my word on that, right? All I ask is for you to give us a try and let us show you that you haven't made a mistake in hiring our cleaning service. Something along those lines. I went off the top of my head, but when I'm in front of them, I can take off. I'm good with dealing with people, business to business, right? Again, in a subtle way, you don't want to do it like you're pushing yourself or yourself. It's just more of a matter of fact, right? They have your work, they have your word on it. You guarantee that you're going to provide the service that they're looking for, and you're going to do it at the highest level, right? And you want to make good on that promise. So when they hire you in, you want to make good on what you promised them. Okay, so that's it. Introductory, you bring it to market. Now it's coming into the training aspect, Katrina. So I kind of broke it down into sections. It's coming into the training aspect with your employees, which seems to be the biggest pie for a lot of people because it's most people tell me, well, Fabio, I got it registered. I got my business account, I got the EIN, I got all of that out the way. They say, Fabio, I'm good. I can get in the door. I can get some contracts. I don't get as many as I want, but I'm getting contracts. But then they say, damn, Fabio, the hardest part is keeping employees, right? And like I said, Katrina, what I talked about is I was telling people, you know, the way I do it, and again, there's no right or wrong way to do it, but the way I do it is I work 30 to 60 days in, depending on how big or how small it is, and then I hire somebody. Number one, I give you 1 or 2 months that you don't have to pay anybody, right? So you train yourself. If you're small, if you're more of a bigger uh, company, then it's a little bit different. But you're small, you're just starting out, you're doing it. Boom, you work 30 to 60 days in, and then you go ahead and you put a body in there. By the time you put a body in there, you already know that building from top to bottom, left to right, right? You already know how that building operates. So you can be effective in your training the new employee. I also told people to keep an open door policy with their employees, right? I also told people that they need to check on the account more in the very beginning. A lot of times people throw a body in there, they feel comfortable, they go home and they don't check on the site. They just assume everything is running smoothly, right? Because nobody's caught, no one said anything. So they just assume in the beginning, again, it's like a baby. I tell people, how the baby, you got to pay more attention to your baby, right? So you don't just birth the baby and just say, we're gonna forget about him. We give him a few hours and he'll be all right. No, you're gonna nurture, you're gonna be around him more, right? You're gonna pay a lot of attention to him. But as the baby grow, you don't have to give that baby that as much attention as he, become more where he can do it for himself or she can do it for herself, right? And then when they become teenagers, obviously, right, they pretty much grown at that point. They're running on autopilot. So they just call you when they need you, ma, yada yada yada, right? And then you help them at that point. So it's the same way with the business. If I'm using that analogy, right? You get this new contract, you got to baby it, right? You want to make sure you got your I's dotted and your T's crossed. So that's what I talked about in this particular situation, Katrina. But you will see it when you kind of play it back. I covered everything. I gave a lot of valuable information, a lot of different places you can go about to handle your managing the time for your employees and etc. But if you guys have any more questions, I'll be more than willing to cover it. Again, guys, you got 30 days for the people that wants to get it and that want to get a part of my coaching and want any paperwork, any lead gen. We got 30 days, entirely up to you guys. I do appreciate the people that have came in. I'm going to work, expeditiously to make sure that we, get everything going for you, make sure everything works out for you. That's my ultimate goal, I swear. So that's that, guys. Do you have any more questions for me, guys? Guys, let's get these likes up, man. Let's get these likes up. You guys can't say I didn't turn up tonight. I did a fantastic job on this video here. Took my time, I broke it down. Now I want to answer any questions if you have any. And once again, shout out to Clean Vessel. Clean Vessel says he's been watching my videos. He's doing great. He picked up another contract for $1,100 just off of watching my videos. Again, guys, that's what I'm saying. You guys can absolutely do this. How much for the coaching? Well, I got different coaching packages. It depends on what package you want in terms of coaching. I have a 6-month coaching. I have a 12-month coaching, 12-month coaching. I slashed it all the way down to like $900 for the entire year, right? Which is what most of everybody coming in with. That's because I linked the coaching with the lead gen in that you no longer get the paperwork in that. The paperwork is separate though. Okay. But you would get the lead gen and the coaching together if you take the for the year. Okay. You'll get 6 months of lead gen. Okay. And then the 12-month coaching with that. Okay. Then I got the 6-month coaching, got the hourly coaching for those that want hourly coaching, and then the paperwork. Okay, so I slashed the price on everything. It's on my community tab too. If you don't see it or just don't want to look over there, just email us, HOLLYWOODJanitorialServe at gmail.com, HOLLYWOODJanitorialServe at gmail.com, and my assistant Alexis or Jasmine could send that breakdown over to you, right, in terms of the prices. Okay. Let me see here. Got a kid to feed. Glory to the Most High God. Inshallah, inshallah. Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Inshallah. I'm so happy for you, Clean Investment Vessel, because I remember some of my older lives, bro. 900, we'll link up soon. Okay. Some of my older lives, I remember when you were struggling, like when you, like it just wasn't working out. And for things to work out the way it do, like the type of emails that I get and text messages I get from my, I just put up another post up on my community tab. A young lady that went through my coaching, she kept saying she wasn't going to get it and got a $3,100 deal. Her investment, $1,000. She got coaching. Come in at $1,000. She got coaching, and we flipped that already, right? So I get those type of stories, right? I get people they emailing me the checks. Hey man, you can tell your viewers, man. They email me the checks. I say no, I'm not gonna post your checks. I'm not gonna do that. And I tell them they don't even have to. They know what they're doing, right? They don't even have to send me their checks. I'm just honored and just happy that that I get those text messages and even like your comments, right? Like your comment, Clean Vessel, because I remember the struggling aspect, the struggling part for you, right? So I'm just so happy. And I just want you to keep going. It's going to be a tough road, right? But just keep going, and spread your wings a little bit. Like once you start making a significant amount of income with doing your restaurant cleaning, spread out, somewhere. You sew that part up, right? That's your niche. No one else is doing it. Then you spread your wings. You kind of hop into something else, whether it's window cleaning or VCT floor care, or you're doing carpet cleaning or whatever, right? You're doing residential or move to commercial or whatever the case is. You're doing power washing. You're doing crime scene cleanup, right? There's so many different ways. Parking lot cleanup, right? It's just so many different niches within this whole industry, multi-billion-dollar a year industry, and it's steady growing every year, guys. That's why I try to tell people, take your time, find whatever works for you out of the many of ways that I tell you that you can market. Once you find that particular marketing strategy that worked for you, do more of that, right? And then you add to it. You don't stop. You revise it a little bit. You do more of that. He said, I want to do offices. Yep, that's some of the easiest money that you can do. Offices, like I do offices. I align myself with property management companies. Now I have a lot of apartment complexes. Apartment complexes can be a doozy, right? Because every unit ain't clean, right? Every unit ain't clean, but it's a lot of money to be made. It'll definitely keep you busy, because they always have a unit that they need you to clean, right? Sometimes you get a list. We need 102 through 108 done, and then we need 208 done and 219 done. The different units, right? So they keep you and your staff busy. I love the apartment complexes. It's a lot of money, right? It's a lot of money. You charge on that per unit. That's the way my company do it. Everybody got their way to do it. I charge per unit, and they pay it, right? Because I market myself as a premium service. I deliver the goods. They ask us, Fabio, can you do painting? We sure can. What do? I outsource it to my painter. I got a painter on deck. I don't personally do it in-house, but I got a certified contractor that does painting. That's what he do. He has the truck, the mount, the machines, the sprayer, the this and that. He does that, right? The mask, face mask. He got the layout on the carpet, the layout where he lay it, and he go in there. He do his thing, right? Him and his people. I pay him his percentage of what he expect to get paid, what he need to get paid, and I take a smaller portion of it, because I'm going to keep cleaning the building. This is just going to be a one-time cleaning for him, unless I need him to do another painting job, right? Pest control, same thing. If people got mice, they got roaches, they need to get rid of pest control, I call my pest guy. I got him set up as a subcontractor. It's on a subcontractor agreement like everybody else. When I need him, I bring him in, right? Hey, we got this job on this house on 123 Oak Street. They got a pest control situation. Hey, we need you over there. He might say, well, hey, man, based on what it looked like here, it's going to be a two. We got to come out 2 times for this. Or we got to come out 3 times for this. Whatever it take, I'll let them know. Hey, my pest guy said, it's pretty severe over here, and it's going to take, 2 visits. It's going to take 3 visits, you know. But I have to get workman's comp. Okay, you'll get that. You're on the fast pace to get that. You'll get workman's comp. Just be very careful with your workers, right? You don't want them to F up and you don't have it. Okay. Again, I like the fact that you even took action, because there's somebody on this video that say, Fabio, I don't have workman's comp, so I'm gonna just wait till I get workman's comp, and I'm gonna just go ahead and start my whole enterprise. I'm gonna start my whole business. And I don't feel that that's the right way to go, personally. Unless you, in your mind, thinking you're accident prone, then you might feel like I need to go that way. I've had people that watch my videos and they say, Fabio, man, you get me so excited that I didn't even have the money to register a DBA. I didn't have the money to get an LLC, whatever the case is. Man, I didn't even get the free EIN number, right? The EIN is free. You can get that online or over by phone. You can get it, right? But I've had people make money cleaning, whether it be at homes, residential or commercial, and they don't even have a DBA registered. Now, I don't suggest that you do that, but that just shows the tenacity of a person. That just shows the sheer mindset of a person. They really want it as bad as they want to breathe. I got them excited on the video. They executed and they went out and they got contracts. Okay. So again, like I say, Clean Vessel, I'm just so excited for you, bro. Just keep going, because I remember, I think you even emailed me a few times, if I'm not mistaken. So I do remember you being on the live, and I'm really excited for you. Just keep it going. Keep it going. Don't stop. I need you to apply pressure. Whatever city you in, I need you to, Milwaukee. I think you said Milwaukee, right? No, that was another guy. Yeah, another guy in Milwaukee. But whatever city you're in, that was Anthony. Whatever city you're in, I need you to apply pressure. Stay on top of it, right? Make sure you are the go-to guy in your section. Okay, that's going to do it, guys. I'll go ahead and wrap it up. Again, Shout out to Clean Vessel. Shout out to Katrina Johnson at Tennessee Cleaning. Um, yep, I covered everything. Shout out to everybody that watched the live. I go ahead. I'm gonna start doing shout outs who I forgot here. Lazy J. Shout out to Lazy J, Katrina, Roz. What's up, beloved? Mia. Shout out to Mia. I think she went on and went to bed. Anthony, long time don't hear from, bro. I'm glad to see that you still pumping it out, doing what you need to do. Let me see anybody else. Smith, Shauna. Shout out to Smith. Let me see anybody else on here. Start doing a little shout outs. My guy DJ the Boss. Yay. Huh. You know his Rick Ross stuff. Yeah. My guy Leonard Watson. It's another one. He kicking ass. He kicking ass. I was following up with him. He's part of my coaching, man. He's a great guy. Leonard, he's a great guy. He very assertive. I was doing a follow up with him because I helped him put some numbers in. I wanted to see if he got that contract, but I tapped back in with him, man. It's just a beautiful situation. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut you guys short. Again, my next video, I only do the videos on Tuesday. I think I'm gonna switch the days up, but I think Tuesday and Thursday is best. So my next video will be Thursday. If you have any ideas, just like Katrina did, leave it on one of my community tab posts or email it to me. Right? If you have any suggested videos, I'll shout you out, shout your company name out and everything, and I'll answer whatever you need answered to the best of my ability. The only person that could ever stop you from starting up your own dreams and making it to the top is you. Take care. And excuse my hair, guys.